All right. Well, happy Thursday and happy New Year. Welcome to For Closing Sake. So the last time we were together, we were Title Tuesdays, right? And we were coming together and having this conversation on Tuesdays. And outside of the date change, which wasn't as, hey Donna, happy New Year, which wasn't as important as the title of our podcast and our conversation. And that is our new name. It's a name that we had, and you probably saw it towards the end of last year, and that is For Closing Sake. For closing sake, for closing sake. And so that's a name that I came up with honestly over a year ago, and it was a purpose. It's really what spawned these weekly conversations, and really it's based on the beauty of the leverage that I have in the position that I sent as a closing attorney, to see all the chaos behind the scenes that occur when deals are trying to make it to the closing table. And I'm literally, whether most parties know it or not, I'm refereeing issues all the time, and it's all for the purpose of closing. It's like, listen, let's just let cooler heads prevail and let's get to the closing table. Let's get you closed and funded, i.e. paid. All right. And so For Closing Sake is our stand, right? That's our declaration. That is our motivation, is to get to closing. Now, with that being said, For Closing Sake also includes, ultimately, right, that's when we get paid, right? In real estate, that's when we get paid. And so we're going to do what we need to get to closing. For closing sake, there are some things that we must get done. And so in the spirit of January and the new year, and obviously what everyone's talking about, new year, new me, new goals, new aspirations, of course, the conversation that we must have at the start of the year is around goal setting, right? It's around execution of those goals. It's around the mindset that it takes to be successful and to repeatedly, continuously, and consistently, right? That's the thing that often burns us out in business, in real estate. It's like a roller coaster. You're not done until you're funded, right? I don't know how many times, and I hope you've heard this because it has happened, that deals have gotten to the closing table and died. People have not signed. People have, buyers have all of a sudden not been able to come up with their cash to close. I hate to start off the new year with this conversation, but it's true. And so what we endeavor to do is, again, those are outliers for sure. But let's now talk about how to consistently get to the closing table without all the chaos. And so with that as our topic for this month, is the 4 disciplines of execution for realtors, right? What are the 4 disciplines of execution that realtors must implement in their business to consistently get to the closing table, right? For closing sake. So the mission of our conversation is still to provide a weekly coaching call. It's a coaching call for realtors to discuss the latest trends and need to know information to grow your business. These conversations are going to be about business planning, you guys. It's going to be about the fundamentals of business. Of course, we'll still get to the education. That'll be another day, another call. This call is about getting to the closing table, right? How to get your business to the closing table consistently and regularly. Now, for those who I have not had an opportunity to meet before, my name is Racole Jackson. I am the founder of Title Xperts. I am the curator of For Closing Sake. And a little bit about my professional background. I am originally from Florida. I obtained my bachelor's degree from the University of Florida, go Gators. I obtained my law degree from Santa Clara University School of Law. And I came back home to Miami, Florida, where I obtained my LLM in real property development from the University of Miami. And I am a licensed real estate salesperson. And so I always provide this background information to provide that. Oftentimes I'm introduced as Racole, the closing attorney, but most don't know that prior to going into practice, I did real estate sales. That's what I did. I started off with Marcus and Millichap doing commercial real estate in California, came back to Florida, got into residential, and now doing both. And so I say that to say there is no issue that you guys have seen that I have not seen, that we're not still seeing. You don't find me in production as such because of my capacity now as the CEO, of multiple businesses. And so really my goal, I love it. Look, like they say, I love it here. I love doing deals, but I absolutely love my role as a CEO. And so my goal is to support realtors in transitioning from operating and thinking as an agent to the CEO of a real estate business, right? So quick commercial break for my team that allows me to take the time out each week to do that. That is, this call is powered by Title Xperts. We are an attorney managed firm. The services that we provide include a dedicated closing team, weekly status updates, helpful closing guides to you and your clients, and rush processing is available. At the end of the day, the goal of Title Xperts is to get you to the closing table and paid fast, by any means necessary, right? And so you see here, the forefront of my team. If you have not had an opportunity to work with Title Xperts before, we welcome you. We welcome you to the opportunity to experience a Title Xperts closing. New contracts are sent to contracts@titlexperts.com. If you have general questions about Title Xperts, or even our services, feel free to send an email to closings@titlexperts.com. And then you can always call us at 866-5-Xperts. We're proud of that little vanity number there. Also, as has indicated in the chat, we're running on a webinar platform this time, not necessarily just a Zoom call, specifically because the mics get hot. And we were trying to find the mic and find the noise. So we're operating on a webinar platform. And so with that being said, it does not preclude you from asking questions, commenting. We still have the chat box, and there's also a Q&A section. So ask away. No questions are off limits. So to our conversation for the day. The 4 disciplines of execution for realtors. Now, this conversation is based out of this book, The 4 Disciplines of Execution, right? Obviously, it doesn't say realtors, but guess what, guys? As I always say, a business is a business is a business. And so what it takes for Chick-fil-A to run their business systematically are some of the same considerations that we all must consider in operating our businesses, right? Their end result is a chicken biscuit, right? Not on Sunday, as you know. But at the end of the day, they have to put systems in place to accomplish that end. We rave about their customer service. At the end of the day, they had to put systems in place, standards in place to accomplish that result and that raving review concerning their customer service. And so this book, The 4 Disciplines of Execution, it's around what's necessary, the 4 major disciplines that any CEO, any executive of a business must engage in order to hit their marks, right? And so, as I said, here you are. You are the CEO of your very own real estate business, right? You are not just an agent. You are an agent CEO. Over the past 12 weeks, we had an intensive coaching program with agents about running their business, developing their business. And one of the comments, some of the feedback that we got from one of the realtors was, I did not realize that this is what I signed up for. So, in case you did not realize, this is what you signed up for. You signed up, congratulations. You are now the CEO of your very own real estate business. Congratulations, give yourself a hand. Now, with that being said, that means you are the end all be all for your business. You are the guiding force for your business. And at the end of the day, It is necessary in order for you to be successful that you must execute. And so this month, again, we're going to focus on, while we're all talking about business plans and, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do 50 million, and I'm going to do 60 million, I'm going to do 100 million. Guess what? Planning is great, but if you do not execute, it's all for naught. And so before we have the conversation, you guys, about what the plan is, we have to appreciate that we're going to have to execute on the plan. And so the conversation today is, how do we execute on our plans? How do we execute on the 50 million in 2022? How do we execute on the 100 million in 2022? How do we execute on the building my team by 12 in 2022? So we start with the definition of execution. Execution is the carrying out or putting into effect of a plan, i.e. your business plans, right? An order or a course of action. You must carry out. Execution is deadly. Literally, right? I didn't even think about that. That's another definition, execution, right? But execution is deadly. Execution gets you to your result. It acts on an issue to accomplish an end result. And you know what? With that being said, hopefully by the end of these conversations, you will execute on your goals execution style. You will debt them. They will be hit and killed, right? With your result. And so you have to know that execution is important. This is why we have to start here, because ideas do not make you rich. The correct execution of ideas does. So you come up with all the, again, 100 million and 12 new agents on my team. And, oh, I'm going to now start farming this community. Oh, I'm going to hire a VA. I'm going to hire a coach. I'm going to start meeting with my broker. I'm going to open my own brokerage. I'm going to start my own team. That's a great idea, but that won't make you rich. It's the execution. This is why it's important. We have to stay here for today, because once we start talking about all the different actions that you can take to hit these goals, we want that to build on the thought process that, but it's not going to be worth anything if I don't execute, right? Implementation precedes income. You guys have probably heard me say before, one of the partners at a prior firm would always say, this is not a charity. Meaning, I'm sure you guys are operating a for-profit. No one has on the end of their business cards a non-for-profit organization, right? No, I didn't think so. No one has a non-for-profit at the end of their business card. And so you are seeking revenue. You're seeking income. But guess what? Execution, i.e. implementation of your strategies to accomplish your goal, is going to precede the income. Now, execution is going to require a behavioral change, right? And we all know that. If we look inward, we know that, yeah, we can get some coaching and training on how to lay out goals and be more specific about processes and procedures and measuring revenue and those types of things. But at the end of the day, you're gonna, if it's something that you've never done before, it's gonna be hard, right? To achieve a goal that you have never achieved before, you must start doing things you have never done before. We've heard this so many times, but guess what? It's these types of reminders. We have to keep these reminders in front of us. We have to keep these reminders in front of us so that every day we implement, we execute on the behavior change. Remember, your old behavior is a habit that you have to break. And your old behavior is what got you the results that you have right now. So because it's a habit, you have to intentionally change that behavior, right? And like we said, change is not easy. Let's accept that. Let's accept that, because I don't want you guys to fall out when you're like, oh my God, like, I never go to bed before 11:30. Well, guess what? If your goal is to be up at 5, 6, and you want to be properly rested, you need to be in bed before 11:30, right? Some of the changes that we need to make are very simple. Case in point, it reminds me I have my water right here. Drink more water. Very simple changes that are going to give us a massive result, right? But don't get frustrated with yourself when it becomes challenging, because change is not easy. Now, when we get into business planning and goal setting, the purpose of writing down your goals is to establish clarity. Clarity is one of the main culprits behind breakdown of execution. You didn't know what you were trying to do anyway. This isn't clear. If you say, take me home, if I get in the car with you and I say, take me home, how many of you are going to be able to accomplish that? You don't even know what my address is. What's home, Racole? What is your address? And then if I don't have GPS, I'm probably going to need you to give me directions. Without an address, and more specifically directions, we are not going to execute on the goal of getting you home. Right? And so are you clear on the goal that you're seeking to execute this year? Do we have directions to your goal? Do we have a goal, first of all? Oh, I just want to make more money. What does that look like? I just want to close more deals. What does that look like? Is it, I mean, 1 is more, right? Do we want 1 more? Do we want 12 more? Do we want 10 more? Right? So let's get clear on what that goal is, right? Because execution will require specific documentation of the specific actions that must be taken in order to accomplish that more deals goal, right? We got to get clear. We got to get clear. And then once you're clear, what's your level of commitment? We're talking about execution. All of this execution is your end result. These are the building blocks. These are the steps, part of the path to getting to the end result of execution. How committed are you? If you don't do 10 more deals this year, what's the result? Are you going to have to take a step away from real estate because, you know, your expenses are just outpacing your income? Right? Are kids going to have to go without? Right? Are you going to continue working 7 days a week, nearly 24 hours a day? Right? Are you not going to be proud of your business? How committed are you? If it really doesn't make a difference, then you're likely not to execute. So you have to, that's part of the exercise. If I do not do X, this will be the result. If I do not close 3 deals this month, then my mortgage isn't paid, My car note isn't paid. Daycare is not paid. I'm dipping, or in order to pay it, I'm dipping into my savings. How committed are you? See, sometimes what ends up happening is, one of the reasons that people go into real estate is one of the reasons why they fail is because of the lack of, well, let's just say it. It's the next one, accountability. You get to run your own schedule. You get to do your own thing when you get ready to, how you get ready to, and guess what? Exactly. Because you get to do your own thing and you've kind of never been here before. Most realtors have not. Some come off of being an executive, or they come off of being an entrepreneur and a CEO, founder of another business. And so they already have this rhythm, this muscle memory of operating a business. But if you've never run a business before, I think you might want to get some training on how to run a business, because at the end of the day, this is a real estate business. Okay. So the next building block of execution is accountability. Who will keep you accountable for your goals? Who will keep you accountable? Who will be calling if you don't show up to prospect? Who will be calling if you do not close your 3 deals this month? It's just how we're built. That's why we have trainers and coaches. 9 times out of 10, when we go to trainers in the gym, you know how to squat. You do, right? You know how to get on the exercise bike. You know how to get on the treadmill. You know how to lift weights. You just don't have the accountability to yourself to consistently do it. And so accountability is part of the building block to execution. So finally, people who are not sure what their goals are, no clarity, not committed to them, and do not know specifically what to do about them, and they have no accountability. It was just a hope. It was a dream. That's it, right? It wasn't necessarily a goal, because a goal comes with actions, right? A goal says, I am going to accomplish this. Dreams do not. Dreams are, right? They're just in the air. When you wake up, they're gone. If it's a good dream, you're like, oh, maybe I'll get this dream back, but it's gone. Dreams are gone. Like, that's it. You're not going back for that dream. You're not going to accomplish that dream, but the goal is what you are absolutely seeking to accomplish, right? So the 4 disciplines of execution. Here's what the 4 disciplines of execution are from the text. And today we're going to go over the 4. Over this month, we're going to go deeper and apply them to your real estate business. So the 4 disciplines of execution, the first one is focus on what's wildly important. What is most important to your business? The more that you try to do, the less you will get done, invariably. The more you try to do, the less you will get done. What is most important? Make a note to think about all the things that you do. All the things that you do. But what's most important? What's most important? And the reason why you're going to need to do that is because later on, we're going to talk about leverage. We're going to talk about who can be doing some of these other things that you're doing that's really not important for you as a CEO of your business, right? The second discipline of execution is to act on lead measures. Lead measures measure the behaviors that will drive results. You guys have probably heard lead versus lag measures. Lag measures, they measure the result. Lead measures go out first. Lag measures measure the result, what came in. Here's an example. Focusing on revenue instead of lead generation and contracts is not the exercise, because lead gen and contracts are the lead measure. They're the ones that are going to produce the three closings at the end of the month. That's your lag measure. Your lag measure is the result. Did I hit my 3 contracts? Did I get my 3 contracts? The reason why you're not focusing on the lag measures is because they come behind. They come behind the lead. They come behind what's in front of you, what's most important, right? So don't misunderstand. Lag measures are ultimately the most important thing that you're trying to accomplish. We want the closings, but lead measures are what get you to your lag measures. Further clarity. Once you have identified your lead measures, they become key leverage points for achieving your goals. What's my lead measure? I know that I need to make 50 contacts to, that's too low. We all know we need more contacts than that. We need 100. We need to make 100 dials to potentially make 50 contacts. People get on the phone to potentially get 20 people, 15 to get, I'm thinking of buyers, to get pre-approved, to get 3 to 5 people under contract. So what's my lead measure? My lead measure is those 100 dials, because they're going to get the people under contract. So we're so focused on, oh, I didn't get 3 contracts. Well, did you do the lead? Did you do the thing that leads to the result? So through this month, we're going to focus on what is I'm going to tell you something. I get real animated about this. I understand that social media is your marketing, but somebody else can do your social media. There's a lot of other things that someone else can do while you focus on the things that really, really, really get the results. I'll leave you with that. What really gets your results? What gets you to the closing table? What gets you to the closing table? That's your lead measure. The third discipline, keep a compelling scorecard. Because guess what? People play differently when they're keeping score. You don't keep score on yourself because you know you don't want to be like accountable. You don't want to see it in your face. You said you would make 20 dials per day, but it's only in your head, right? But you don't have a scorecard in front of you saying, I made my 20 dials today. Put a scorecard, put a calendar in front of you and check off, or write in the number of dials that you actually made each day. And I assure you, by the time you get to the end of this month, if only 5 days show 20 dials, you will know what your lag measure is going to be. You're going to know what your result is going to be. And can I encourage you that even if you say, for example, you hit, let's say you got lucky, jackpot, my first day dialing, my first week, let's be reasonable. My first week, I got 5 listings. Does that mean you stop dialing the second, third, and fourth week? I hope not. Because guess what? That's what creates the roller coaster. Now, once those deals close, you back. Hello, 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 right? Now you're chasing your lead again. So the third discipline is keeping a compelling scorecard. Keep a scorecard of your results in front of you. The fourth discipline is to create a cadence of accountability. This is important. This helps you because unless you're held accountable, the goal will naturally disintegrate into the whirlwind of life and business and all the things that's going on. If you're not held accountable, if no one is expecting to see you on the phones each day at your set time, if you know no one's checking for you, then again, all the other things are going to take over, right? But there's a way to create a cadence of accountability that will allow you to not miss your goal of execution. For example, you guys, if you follow me on social media, you know that we do a daily huddle in my office, daily huddle. And that's something that I suggest 100%. Certainly if you run a team. If you run a team, you absolutely should be doing a daily huddle. That practice works across all industries. But it's accountability for everyone accomplishing their set responsibility, right? And it also keeps you on top of the tasks that you know that need to be completed to get you to a goal, right? Let's say you have a transaction coordinator. Do we have our loan approvals in? Is closing scheduled? Are the inspections scheduled? Do we have the inspection results? Do we have the appraisal results? A cadence of accountability. Daily huddles get you there. And so over this month, we are going to focus on the 4 disciplines of execution, the 4 disciplines of results, the 4 disciplines of income, right? Because this is not a charity. And by the end of this month, as you get into this mindset of execute. And can I tell you, execute even when it's not convenient. Execute even when it's not convenient. Execute even when you're going to have to hustle, potentially because you didn't allow enough time to plan for a particular result. Execute even if you don't execute in perfection. The longer it takes you to jump out there and get going, the longer it's going to take you to get to perfection. You have to understand that there are numerous iterations of so many different goals, the strategies to accomplish a particular goal. One of my favorite quotes, I believe, is Thomas Edison. He said, "I did not fail 1,000 times. I found 1,000 ways that did not accomplish my end result." But he accomplished that end result. If not, we wouldn't have lights, right? So you did not fail 1,000 times. You found, you identified, you confirmed 1,000 different ways, and this won't take you 1,000 different ways. And I always say that too. This is the benefit of being in this real estate space. So many have gone before us and been successful in this, that all you have to do is mimic the traits of the greats. Learn and mimic the traits of the greats. That's the cheat code, guys. So many people have done this, but guess what makes the difference? Execution. There's a whole business plan laid out on how you can do $100 million in a year for a fact. Guess what makes the difference? Execution. I can hand you a strategy. I can give you someone's strategy. I can tell you. I coach and work with top producers. I can tell you what their strategy is. You know, everyone talks about Red Lobster biscuits. I can give you the recipe, but you probably still not going to do it. Right? So this month, we're going to talk about execution. We're going to talk about jumping off the porch, get started, get going, make your mistakes, hurry up. The longer it takes for you to get out there and make your mistakes is as long as it's going to take you to get to perfection, right? So here we are. In closing, is the quote: Without strategy, execution is aimless. Without execution, strategy is useless. You're going to develop a strategy. You have developed a strategy. You're probably going to tweak the strategy because, again, it's January. It's what we do. It's business planning month. We do our business plan and and here's, I mean, I hope you have a strategy. What's your revenue goal, right? But without execution, it's useless. Why do we even have this conversation? So without strategy, execution is aimless. And without execution, or it says without execution, strategy is useless. Right? Listen, guys. Next week, we get into the first discipline of execution. What's important? What is most important to you in your real estate business to accomplish the 50 million, the 100 million? We're going to get into that for closing sake. All right. I'll see you next week.